In this part of our lesson on adjectives, we are going to be focused on making Latin adjectives describe Latin nouns. That means we're going to focus on the concept of agreement. Our focus is going to be on using first and second declension adjectives because in the story that we are getting to read in this module, the only adjectives we have present are from first and second declension. And so that's why our focus is going to be on that type of adjective. Remember that agreement refers to having the same gender, the same number, and the same case. It is an adjective that has a specific, it is a noun that has a specific gender. And it is a noun that must be used in a specific case in a sentence. And it is a noun that has a specific number within its sentence. The adjective has none of those things by itself. It takes all of those qualities from the from the noun that it is describing. I can't seem to keep those two terms straight. I'll try to get it right before we're finished. Let's take a look at this sentence which says, "The angry farmer will not give the lazy dog a puppy biscuit." So I have two pairs of nouns and adjectives in this sentence. The first pair is angry farmer. And if we look at the phrase angry farmer, we should notice that it is the first noun and adjective in the sentence and comes immediately in front of the verb will not give. What does that tell us? It tells us that farmer is the subject of the sentence. And we know that as a subject, farmer must be written in the nominative case. And because farmer is singular, our adjective angry will also have to be singular. And perhaps you recall that farmer is one of a handful of first declension nouns that's going to be masculine instead of feminine because it names a male occupation. Now it's important for you to have your list of noun and adjective endings in front of you. And the first thing that I'd like for you to do would be to write the word farmer in its nominative, singular, and masculine form. Then, once you've gotten that written on your paper, I'd like you to think about the adjective angry. We can see from the fact that it has us and a and on it that it belongs to first and second declension. So I would like you to write the adjective iratus al with the nominative, singular, and masculine ending from the list of adjective endings for first and second declension adjectives. When you have both of those forms written, they should be in agreement if you've done it the right way. Here's what the correct answer would look like. Agricola, because that's the nominative singular form. Remember, that's always the first form that we see on the vocabulary list. And then iratus is the masculine nominative singular form. They do not look the same, Agricola and iratus, but they are in agreement because they have the same gender, masculine, the same case, nominative, and the same number, singular. In Latin, it will not matter if you put the adjective before the noun or after the noun. Roman authors do both. When I do a writing exercise like this, I always like to put the noun first because it helps me to focus on the noun and determine the specific attributes of the noun from writing it in its position in the sentence. Now let's take a look at lazy puppy. Think about the fact that it is not that the farmer is giving the dog away, but that he's giving something to the dog. That means that dog is the indirect object of the sentence. Indirect objects must be written in the dative case. Dog is singular, and we can tell from the vocabulary list that dog is masculine. We can also tell from the vocabulary list by looking at the genitive form of dog that it belongs to third declension. So when you are looking at the chart in front of you that has both noun and adjective endings on it, you have to make sure that you pick the dative masculine singular ending for a third declension noun, because that's what dog is. The adjective lazy, however, because of the us, the a, and the definitely belongs to first and second declension. So when we are writing lazy into Latin, we have to make sure to choose the ending from the first and second declension set of adjective endings. They're the ones that are on the bottom left of the chart. Make sure that you find the masculine dative singular ending for the word lazy in order to describe dog, which is also going to be in the dative singular and masculine form. Do you have them written down? Do they look like this? Kani ignawo. If they didn't, find these endings on the chart and see where they belong. Go to the third declension masculine noun column, that's on the top right of the chart, and scroll down with your finger to the dative singular. You should see the letter I. And if you go to the bottom left of the chart to look at the first and second declension adjective endings, find the masculine column, which is the first one, and scroll down until you find the dative singular. You should see the letter O. Let's try another example. In this sentence, we say the king of the gods was angry because the people of the earth were evil. I'd like you to be able to tell me what the two adjectives are and what nouns they describe. You can't actually tell me, but just think about that in your head. Angry is the first adjective that we see, and it is describing the king. And the second adjective we see is evil, and it is describing the people. Angry is from first and second declension. I know this because of the usa and so is evil from first and second declension because of the usa King is a masculine noun. I can tell that because of the M. And because of the IS, I know that king is from third declension. So when you write the phrase angry king, you have to make sure that your ending for the noun king is coming from the third declension noun part of the chart, which is on the top right side, and that your ending for angry is coming from the first and second declension adjective part of the chart, which is on the bottom left side. King is the subject of the sentence, and therefore it must be in the nominative case. And because it is singular and masculine, I have to make sure that my adjective iratus is also nominative singular and masculine. Can you write that pair of words into Latin correctly? Pause the video if you need to think about it for a bit. The correct answer is rex iratus. Not sure how I got that? Make sure you email me and ask your questions. Now let's take a look at the second half of the sentence where we have evil describing people. Because of the word because, we have a new idea starting in the sentence, which means that people is the subject of this new idea. Evil is describing the people, and therefore both words must be in the nominative. People is plural, and it is masculine. The word for people is homo hominis. I can see from the is on the genitive form that it is from third declension, and the gender is masculine. Take a few moments to either think in your head or write on a piece of paper what the phrase evil people will look like in the nominative plural and masculine. Did you write homines mali? It has to be the correct answer because, as I said, homo homines is from third declension. That's the top right side of your noun and adjective chart. If you look at the nominative plural ending for the masculine column, you'll see that its ending is es. If, however, when I'm looking at the masculine column for the adjectives from first and second declension, which is on the bottom left side of your chart, you go to the masculine column there and scroll down to the nominative plural, you should see that the ending that we're looking at is an I, not an es. That's because they belong to different declensions. But these two nouns, even though they don't look the same, have the same gender, number, and case, and therefore are in agreement. Jupiter, king of the gods, sent many waters and destroyed the earth. In this sentence, we're going to see if we can write the phrase many waters into Latin. Can you decide what declension the adjective many and the noun water belong to? If you look at the adjective for many, you should see the us, the a, and the and that tells us that it belongs to first and second declension. So when you go to choose an ending for it, it must be from that bottom left side of the noun and adjective chart. Aqua, aquae has a genitive form that ends with ae. That ae makes this a first declension noun. And so because it is a first declension noun, we will find its ending on the chart on the top left side of the chart. Aqua, aquae from first declension is not naming a male occupation. Therefore, it is a feminine noun. So the next thing that you need to be able to do is think about what many waters function is in the sentence. I'll give you a moment or two to think about whether it's the subject or a direct object. Of course, in your head, you're thinking it is the direct object because that's the thing that Jupiter sent, and you are correct. Direct objects have to be written in the accusative case. Don't forget to think about whether waters is singular or plural. And remember the fact that water is a feminine noun, so that when you go to write your actual pair of Latin words, you are using the correct gender on the adjective many. I'm going to give you a moment or two to think of the answer or jot down the answer, and then we'll see if you've gotten the right thing. Remember, they must both be accusative, plural, and feminine. If you wrote aquas multas or multas aquas, it doesn't matter which order, you are correct, because both of these words have an accusative, feminine, plural ending on them. Here, they not only look the same, but they are also in agreement. And the reason they look the same is because they come from the same declension. This is our final example, and then we're going to see if you can do some without my guidance. A pious man and his wife were saved from the flood by the gods. So obviously, our noun and adjective pairs are a pious man, and then we also have his wife. Do you know what part of the sentence they are functioning as? Hopefully you said subject, because that would be correct. And because a pious man and his wife are the subjects, they must be in the nominative case. Let's focus on a pious man first. Man is in the nominative, and it is singular, and man is going to be a masculine noun. It really doesn't matter whether it belongs to first, second, or third declension in terms of its gender. We just know because it's man that it has to be masculine. However, when we go to write the ending that we want, we are going to have to make sure that we choose the correct declension for the ending. Weary is our noun for man, and that's our second declension masculine noun. We're weary. Remember that when we look at the first form of a noun on a vocabulary list, that is its nominative form. I see I made a typing error here with our adjective pious. I should actually have the Latin written and don't. It should be pius and pius is the Latin adjective for pious. So I should actually not have this O here. I had several errors, it looks like. It should just be pius wir to get both of them. Wife is also part of the subject, and so wife will have to be in the nominative, singular, but feminine form this time. Notice that our word for wife is from third declension. So that means that our noun and adjective will not share identical endings, but they will be in agreement, meaning they'll have the same gender, number, and case. Can you write the correct form for his wife in Latin so that both the noun and the adjective are in agreement with one another? You should have come up with sua uxor. The reason we have sua is because the A on suusaum is what makes it feminine, nominative, and singular. And of course, uxor is the nominative singular form of wife. So that's a real quick look at how we make nouns and adjectives agree with one another. Now we're going to give you an opportunity to practice doing some of that